TAFE colleges in Victoria are bracing for harsh times after the Baillieu government announced $100 million worth of cuts, with hundreds of jobs and courses likely to be lost in the wake of the recent budget. The state government says it's tailoring TAFE to industry needs, but regional communities, teachers and students say it's targeting the most vulnerable in the community. Hamish Fitzsimmons reports.
When the Baillieu government said it was slashing TAFE funding, it was greeted with disbelief.
It's caused a whole lot of anxiety and tears over the past week with the uncertainty of what's next for us.
No one quite knows how many programs will go at this point, but it'll be a lot. It'll be hundreds.
TAFEs across the state have already started cutting jobs. Some estimate up to 2,000 positions will be lost. The state government says courses that have less industry value will bear the brunt of the cuts, which some estimates put it between $100 and $300 million in real terms.
We need to ensure that the training undertaken in Victoria and supported by the public purse is one fit for purpose, one that industry needs and one which represents a real employment outcome possibility for those who invest in it themselves.
While students in Melbourne whose courses are scrapped might have other TAFEs to turn to, regional communities have fewer options and they're worried about the flow-on effects. Rallies like this one in Geelong are being held across the state.
Those institutes are fundamental parts of regional communities, so even the loss of 30, 40, 50 jobs out of regional towns is a big impact on the regional economy.
At Ballarat's TAFE, 57 courses will be dropped. Hundreds of jobs will be lost and students face an uncertain future. The art department in what is a thriving cultural centre looks like being the hardest hit.
I think the discussion point is about the gap between what the cultural industries bring in terms of economy and what the cost is.
The Ballarat College of Art has been in continual operation since 1870. While Ballarat University says it will assist the 320 affected students in some way, the head of the art school says it's hard to put a price on culture.
My argument for retaining the cultural industries is consistent with every other regional centre and city in the world, and that is, if you have a vital cultural industry sector, you've got a vital economy. The two go hand in hand.
Students are worried if they'll even have a course to go to when Ballarat University's TAFE decides which art courses will go.
My first instance, my thoughts were, oh gosh, I've just done my money, you know, I've spent a lot of money to do the first year, paid up front to do a year of education, and it's just lost.
Alice Tai is a permanent resident from Taiwan. She's using TAFE as a pathway to tertiary education in order to bring her skills up to that standard.
I can't really first time to apply for higher education, but I needed writing essays and doing a lot of paperwork and research. But TAFE is a really good opportunity and a bridge to bring me to higher education.
Many TAFE students like Jennifer Sterling are there to further their professional lives.
I'm an occupational therapist. Normally, I'm using this as a stepping stone to get towards a future career in art therapy.
While the staff and students at the TAFE here are understandably worried about their futures, there are even wider concerns about the essential community services that people doing those courses provide. At the TAFE's gym, fitness diploma students work with the young, old and disabled. Classes like this one with students from Ballarat Special School would be lost.
We can actually further our studies into older care and also primary school teachers and disability care. So that's just one of the stepping stones that this course provides.
The financial crisis in vocational training has been long in the making. The previous Labor government's funding regime allowed private providers to flourish. Brian McDonald was the head of one of Melbourne's biggest TAFEs for 23 years. He's critical of how the private industry has been regulated.
We've spent $800 million, mainly in the private sector, since 2008, to produce somewhat worthless training.
Rorting contributed to the financial blowout in vocational training. Unscrupulous providers would enrol students in one course on the understanding they'd get multiple certificates. The government would fund providers for several courses without knowing if they'd been delivered.
It's worthless because the students didn't ask for it in the first place. It's often shonky, it's more often substandard, and it doesn't meet the skills requirements of the economy.
The Baillieu government says it's closed that loophole.
There's a limitation on the number of courses that a person can enrol in and expect to receive government subsidy. That is 2.
There's still hope the cuts will be reversed to what is, for many, the first step or the road back to higher education.
The damage that is being done to the most disadvantaged people in our community by these cuts is hard to measure, but it's very substantial.
The government says it's in ongoing discussions with TAFEs about the future of their courses. Hamish Fitzsimmons, Lateline.